Cool.
All right. Well, let's set our little intention and then I'll welcome you officially. So let's feel our feet on the earth. And take a big breath in, relaxing the tongue and the jaw. And just, I'm feeling a beautiful sense of joy and light coming in. I knew it'd be awesome us connecting. It feels good. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so
I love it.
Okay, the intention is joy. For me, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I think that's great. Just like a lightness. That's awesome.
Lightness. Okay, great. Awesome. That's what the world needs right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Big time.
All right. Let me welcome you aboard. Welcome aboard, Lilli from Hypnosis by Lilli. Here we are.
Thank you so much for having me and for setting this up. I'm really excited.
Oh, cool. Well, we've got lots of exciting questions to delve into today. And before we just started then, we set a little intention together and just tuned in to the energy and the big picture and the higher purpose of this call. And we connected with joy and lightness, and that felt great. And so we're going to run with that now. And for our listeners, so you can also set that intention for yourself that you can open up to greater joy and lightness from listening to this conversation with Lilli and Alina. So please, I'll introduce you briefly, but then I'd love you to, in your own words, really say where you're at and who you are and about the work you're doing. So you're a hypnotherapist and an RTT practitioner, is that right?
I am, yes. So hypnotherapist and RTT, so that's rapid transformational therapy. So it's sort of a hybrid of hypnosis, but then also psychotherapy methods like CBT and NLP, sort of, mixed all in there. Yeah.
Ooh, sounds juicy.
It is juicy. Yeah, it's good. It's really effective. Yeah. When you sort of combine all those methods, it's pretty powerful.
Okay. And so so you love to empower mainly women with certain specific issues, or can they come to you with anything that they need help with?
I suppose really anything that they need help with. I want to help women in, whatever way that they need. I got into hypnotherapy because I had an eating disorder and that's what worked for me. So eating disorders is a big passion of mine. Body image, anxieties is a big one. Obviously, there's so much anxiety in this world. And then sort of like career motivation, I also am finding that I'm really loving working with, just to really instill that confidence and that motivation in women to, go out and, live their dreams, do whatever it is that they want to do and to know that they can. That's a big thing that I'm really loving working with.
Oh, good. Let's talk more about that, because I feel like that would speak to me and my listeners. And so career motivation. So let me just in my own mind get clear about what that means and what you mean by that. Like, I guess the old paradigm, it would be something very like forced and driven and masculine, wouldn't it? And now as we're stepping into more like divine feminine consciousness, there's a lot more flow. Do you want to speak into that and what you mean by career motivation?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, in society, and, it's not as present anymore, but it's definitely in the underlying, consciousness of society that, women stay home, they do this, but it's such a change at the moment. And I'm finding with a lot of the girls that I work with that are wanting to work in that career motivation space, they have a lot of limiting beliefs as to why they can't. Whether, that's, something within themselves or it's something that was impressed upon them when they were younger. And so I love just really breaking down those limiting beliefs, figuring out exactly what they are and, really unlocking them for them. Because once you don't have those limiting beliefs and once you don't have those opinions that are placed on you by others, you really are free to just, do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be like a hard thing, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to come at career motivation, being just like a, like a bull, like just going for it, stepping over anyone in your path. You can just kind of, you know, do what it is that you want to do in a really, you know, coming from a space of, you know, just like love, I think, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
And passion, and passion, figuring out what their passions actually are,
Yes.
when they don't have all those limiting beliefs, you know, on them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I feel that when more people in general are living from their passion and their sense of love and their true self, and this is part of my messaging as well, like connecting with your higher self, like who are you and what do you really want? Because it's going to be love and light and for the highest good of all. And there'll be less, you know, suffering and crap in the world because everyone's coming from that beautiful energy and that beautiful space. So I'm right with you on that. And let's explore a couple of those limiting beliefs that people might have now. Let's just sort of unpack that. Do you want to give some examples?
Yeah, well, limiting beliefs with women, I find that, you know, there's so much there. And it all stems, really, I find it all stems from childhood. You know, a lot of things, you know, are impressed upon us when we're so young and we're so impressionable. And limiting beliefs really come from anything that you attach a meaning to. So it could be a really traumatic event, for sure. It could be that. But it also could be something so small that your mind is attached a meaning to. And then you take that with you for the rest of your life. And so, you know, there's limiting beliefs, you know, for sure, about self-worth, self-love, you know, all those things as to why women shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But it could be just the tiniest things that we attach that meaning to. So limiting beliefs are varied, but they all come back to that, you know, that sense of whatever we have attached a meaning to. And, you know, as humans, we take everything personally. And so we attach all kinds of meanings to things that don't need it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like I've got a reference point for that from when I was a child doing ballet, and my teacher was really mean. And I remember at the end of the class once she gave everyone a jelly bean but me. And it's like, it's such, like I look back as an adult, go, it's just a jelly bean. But no, it felt like she was shaming me for being me and expressing myself. And I didn't do anything to, you know, against her. Why didn't she like me? And I had this wound of like wanting people to love me and accept me. And I've been working on it for so many years. And now I'm in a place of self-acceptance. And it just feels so freaking empowering. And like, you know, and it's like, I guess those books that have come out and that whole kind of like theme of like, you know, who gives a fuck, you know, just follow your truth and all of that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really interesting. But I think unless we address these limiting beliefs and these wounds, then they do play out in our lives and they get stronger until we hear them, because they're from the subconscious, aren't they? They're like sometimes quite deep down.
Yeah. Yeah. Often things you would just have no idea ever affected you. Like, so in hypnosis, what, you know, we do is we when you're that relaxed, you're able to access your subconscious mind and you're able to sort of remember things that have affected you. And things will come up for my clients and they're like, oh, I don't think this is important. Like, I don't think this memory is even a thing. And I'm always like, just say it, you know, let's just, you know, talk through it. And it always means something.
Wow.
And so it's not always something that you think has affected you. It's the tiniest things. And I mean, it's for me, it's just shown how important, you know, how you how you behave in this world is so important, because it has such an impact on others. Like, particularly, you know, with younger kids, like with teachers and whatnot. Like, I don't know why all teachers aren't, you know, in the morning, every morning, getting their clients to, getting their students to say, I am enough, I am smart, I am beautiful, and all of these things, because the power that will have over those children is immense.
Yeah.
And so I think it's like, you know, it's a calling for us all to really, you know, pay attention to what we're putting out into this world, pay attention to what we say to others and how we interact, you know, in this world, because it does have an impact, and every person has an impact. And, you know, you might not know that you've affected someone in a way, but they will take that, you know, with them for the rest of their lives. And so I think we all just need to be so much more aware of our impact that we can have.
100%. And being responsible for our own emotional reactions, and just setting an intention to grow our awareness in general, and like work on ourselves. Like we're in this stage of like, you know, life as we know it, where there's so many opportunities to do that. There's so much content online, there's so many books, there's so many resources and coaches and help, and like there's no excuse to put your head in the sand and say stuff it, you know. Oh, you know, it's just like, I also think that it's about embodiment. So we can say all the right things, but when we start to like embody and live and breathe it, then people pick up on that by osmosis as well. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I noticed that with my kids. I've got 2 daughters, and like, you know, like some of the stuff I work on with, you know, personal development and that kind of realm, I'll write things on my whiteboard and I'll listen to audios in the car, and then they just know it. And I haven't directly taught them, but then they'll come out with stuff. I'm like, cool, they're absorbing some of this stuff, but in their own way. So I don't need to, like, you know, sort of drum it into them or anything like that, because everyone's on their own journey. But I'm pretty conscious if we're going to talk about the body image piece, you know, of not saying negative things about my body in front of my daughters either, because that would be teaching them, like, you know, they say stuff to me about my jiggly bits, and look, and sometimes I say, I laugh it off, or sometimes I say, hey, don't shame me about my body. I love my body, even my jiggly bits. You know what I mean? So it's like both parts of the coin, because they're like, you know, fit, slim, young little poppets, and like, but you know, it's interesting. It's finding that balance, and what type of dialogue do we have around ourselves as women? You know, how are we teaching people to treat us as well? Like, you know, criticizing ourselves all the time, and making it okay for other people to criticize ourselves. Like, I've had enough of it, you know, like, you know, looking back in my past and some of my past relationships and some of the horrible things that, you know, some exes said to me, like, you know, criticizing me, and like, that's not okay. Like, that's, you know, and I think we need to just stand up and just sort of like speak our truth. And I mean, that's a big journey, and that's probably a whole other conversation, but for some reason it just came out. But I think it all relates to what you're saying.
Well, that's a big thing that I work with as well. One of my favorite topics to work with for women is attracting healthy relationships. So really unpacking those limiting beliefs as that they have around relationships and around what they deserve. And so when you're coming from a place of, you know, thinking that you deserve, you know, someone that treats you badly, or, you know, says, you know, certain things that maybe you even say to yourself, like you said, that's all that you're going to be able to attract. But once you unlock those limiting beliefs, you know, and really, you know, put it in your mind that you do deserve a healthy relationship, you do deserve someone to treat you kindly, that's what you're going to attract. And so, it's pretty cool to see the results from those sessions, and how, you know, women just have like, not even just romantic partners, but just, you know, incredible people kind of attracted to them because that's, you know, what they're believing in themselves.
Yes, it's definitely a mirror, isn't it? Our internal world and our external world. Definitely, you can't deny that. That's universal truth. So 100% for that one. Yeah, cool. Yeah, look, I just thought, could we explore a case study? So what if, let's just say, what if one of my limiting beliefs was you can't have career success and be a mum or be married? Like, you can't have domestic bliss and career success. Like, do you think, like, I feel like part of me that I'm still uncovering that, and I want to work all the way through it, because I know it's not true, and you can have both. And I, you know, and I do, and I'm working on that, but I want to take it even higher. And I feel like I was told when I was younger that it was one or the other, by, you know, because maybe at that time, the world that women were in, it did have to be one or the other. They had to choose. Like my mum, you know, she was a career woman, and she is a scientist, and she used to want to be an actress, and then I studied to be an actress, and I explored that as well. And then I remember her telling me, you know, you can have a relationship or you can be an actress. And it's like, oh God. And I just think, and it's like, no. And I think at the time that was probably true, but now it's not true. We can have this and that. So how would someone like me, if I was exploring that and really wanted to clear that conditioning from all those past generations, how would I go about that?
So you'd come to me. I'd get you in hypnosis, And then from there we'd go, we'd explore all the things, that have happened in your life that have made you feel that way. So such as your mum saying that to you and whatnot, we'd unpack all of these scenes, and we do that in really effective ways by dissociating from it, by seeing that as, the past and not the present or the future, using methods like cognitive behavioral therapy to really challenge those thoughts, challenge those beliefs. And then, and really sort of, because when you're in hypnosis, everything just sinks in so much more. It's like lotion on dry skin. It just really sinks in so much more than, just consciously chatting. And so there's so many methods that we do there in hypnosis to really see those memories from an entirely new perspective, to put a whole new spin on them. Because once you do that to the things that have affected you the most, because they will be the things that have affected you the most to cause that specific issue. Once you do that, it's just like a domino effect on the, on the entire issue. It really just changes, your whole perspective on the issue, and it just kind of like outdates it. And then towards the end of the session, I create a recording for all my clients that they then listen to for 21 days. And that's just packed full with this reframe, this, your new outlook on life, all these new beliefs and feelings that you have. And, it takes 21 days to really change those neural pathways, to rewire them. And so it's just, it's just that constant everyday listening to that recording. It just makes all those changes that we made in the session permanent.
Wow. And that's so customized too, isn't it? So I could come to you and say, hey, I also want to drop in this new belief. I want to let go of this. Like that's so exciting. I'm definitely having a session with you. That's so cool.
It's powerful. And before the session, I get all my clients to write just a paragraph on like, without this issue, what does your life look like? So what are you doing? How are you feeling? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What does your week look like? What does your day look like? And all the feelings that are associated with that. And then in the recording, I just pack it full of that. Like that's just all in there. Cool. So it is, super powerful.
Oh, and how long do your sessions normally go for?
They're about 2 hours. I've kind of like got it bang on 2 hours now.
Good.
And for a particular issue, it can be anywhere from 1 to 3 sessions usually to fully unpack it. But a lot of people only really need one, because once you really discover what those limiting beliefs are and you really unpack it, and after the 21 days, typically people only need one, but others need 3, or maybe like I just had a client yesterday book just 2 sessions in advance because she wants to work on this issue and then she wants to work on this issue. So it's 1 session per topic, I suppose.
And I imagine if you got some really great results quickly in an area, you'd want to just hack the rest of all those and clear it as fast as you can. Like, why would we want these hanging around any longer, man?
Exactly.
Jeez.
Exactly.
Oh, cool. Aww.
Yeah.
If there was anything else I was going to ask you. Okay. One of my little questions I sent you. So let's talk about self-worth. What are some strategies for women to increase it? And why is self-worth and self-love so important?
Oh, it's the most important, because I truly believe once you're feeling, really good within yourself and you've come to a place of acceptance with yourself, I just feel as though everything else falls into place.
Yes.
It's, once you're coming at life from, a perspective of, I'm good, I'm okay, I accept myself.
Yeah.
Everything else just really, I find, falls into place. And, things that maybe you've been trying so hard to achieve, they just come at you so much more easily and effortlessly once you're like, I'm good without that, because I'm also good just by myself.
Yeah.
So I think that's, it's the most important thing. And I suppose strategies for me, when I was at a place of, not having self-worth, I think the things that worked for me the most was hypnotherapy for me, but then also meditation helped enormously for me. Just, and that can look differently for everyone, but for me it just looked like sitting, closing my eyes and just following my breath for 10 minutes every day. And for me that was so powerful, because it just created those moments, those pauses, in between, thought and reaction. It created those pauses for me in my everyday life where I was able to sort of use critical thinking, I suppose, and not just go with that first, initial reaction, to really just think about it. So that was super important for me. In terms of, I started to use my brain a little bit more. So then just focusing on my body, I started to really focus on my brain. So I was reading like a book a week, just to really focus on, I'm actually more than a body. I'm also a mind and I'm also a brain. And to start placing importance on that, and, sort of decrease the importance that I was putting on my body. And then affirmations, self-talk, mirror work is, so important. Getting up every day, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I am enough, I am worthy, I am loved, I am lovable, and really committing to saying it, and saying it as though I am, not I want to be this. It's I am this, I am this. And I think for me that it was so powerful, and particularly the phrase I am enough, because you don't have to be, you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the most successful. You just have to be enough for you. And there's so much power in that.
Absolutely. Because it's just the ego that wants to compete, right? It's just the small mind that goes, oh, she's got more than me, or she's better than me. Oh, it's like the soul and our true essence is like, there's more than enough to go around. I'm enough. Abundant. I'm in flow. I'm happy for your success, and that is such a more juicy space to live in.
Yeah. I think like the best, I don't know where I heard it, but there was someone said one time that other people's success, or other women's success particularly, doesn't mean that you can't do that because they're doing that. It actually means that you can do that because they're doing that. It should inspire you rather than discourage you, because they're doing it, so of course you can do it. So it's finding inspiration rather than comparing, and comparing is a huge one in terms of it's the thief of joy, like 100% it is. And so just acknowledging that everyone is in their own lane, and just stick to your own lane, because that's a great lane to be in, really.
And I like with so someone else has done something that I want to do. When I do it, it's going to naturally be unique because it's my essence, and there's only one of me. And so isn't that wonderful to celebrate?
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't matter if there were 20 hypnosis therapists in the same building. There's only one Lilli who's doing it in your way. And so I really value that, and I think that's so special. And that's why people need to know, if they're going through a dark period in their life, we've all been there, that really you're on this planet for a reason.
100%. And just kind of figuring out what that is, and it might not be one thing, it might be multiple things, and that's okay too.
Oh, cool. So how do people find you? How can they work with you?
So Instagram, it's Hypnosis by Lilli. Lilli is Lilli, not Y. And then my website, hypnosisbylilli.com.au. Just flick me a message, and then we'll have a call and sort of discuss doing a session.
Cool. Well, I'll definitely put all the links up when I post this content. And I love your branding, by the way. I love the forest green, how you've got that.
Thank you.
It's really nice.
Thank you. It's I love that color. It kind of brings me a lot of happiness.
Oh, cool. Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me, and I look forward to staying in touch. And I actually seriously want to have a session with you, because I feel like if we try and do everything on our own, we only know what we know, and it's like everyone can help each other, and it's not weak to ask for help, it's strength to ask for help. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger said that. It's good to ask for help. It's a sign of strength. Fantastic.
It is 100%. And I would love that. I'd love to do a session with you.
Yay. Okay, cool. We'll do it. We'll book it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you, gorgeous.
Bye.
Bye.